Hey everybody, it's Derek here. We're going to take a look at the news from the 13th to the 19th of December 2021. So Nintendo had a Nintendo Indie World Showcase on Wednesday, so they showed off a couple of indie titles coming to the Switch. We'll take a look at a few of them here. So we've got Sea of Stars, which is by the same people who made The Messenger. It looks like it will be a... Why my computer's running so slow right now, but it looks like it will be a kind of throwback to ye olde RPGs, ye olde turn-based RPGs, but it appears to have an actual more action focused on the overworld, if you like. So the actual combat will be more turn-based affair, as you can see here. So think something like Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, that kind of thing. That's what you'll be looking at. Placement of your allies, team up moves and stuff like that. Also, you get yeeted by this big thing, which is pretty fun. There is a third character here. It's not clear if they're only joining you for this particular part of the game, but it does seem like the majority of the story follows these two characters. This sun person and moon person. I forget what their actual names are. There is apparently some crossover with The Messenger. This game acts as a somewhat prequel to it, but apparently you will not need to know any. You won't need to know anything about The Messenger, just in case. If you know, because The Messenger was more like a shinobi type thing, ye olde hard ninja game, whereas this will be more like a ye olde turn-based RPG. Anyway, that's Sea of Stars. Then we had a very brief look at a game called Alicia, Oblivion of the Twin Goddesses. This is it looks like it'll be mostly like a co-op game. Why aren't you going full screen? I don't know what's going on with the PC. It's running kind of slow right now. Anyway, so it's a cooperative title, but you can play it solo if you want. You'll just swap between the two characters. It's mostly like puzzles and stuff like that, but the big deal with it, I guess, is that one player will control like motion controls and stuff like that, whereas the other player will have like touch controls on their Switch. Debatable how that works docked, so like who knows. Like, to be honest, they haven't shown off like an actual person using it, so it's not clear how it works exactly. But I don't know. I guess we'll know more about it as we get closer to release. And then Locomotive looks like a pretty fun throwback to not turn-based, point and click adventure games like Beneath Steel Sky, Full Throttle, Monkey Island, that kind of stuff. So it looks like it'll be that kind of thing. So there is a murder on a train, so very much Murder on the Orient Express kind of thing. You have 3 different characters you play as. It's not clear if you swap between them as the story goes, or if you specifically start and just play that character and play their story out. But all 3 characters are prime suspects for the murder. They all have various different skills and abilities. One of them thinks they're a detective. One of them is like swarmy and can like very easily chat up people. And one of them is like a secret agent type deal. Maybe they're like levels of difficulty, possibly. Like if you want the really hard mode, play as the secret agent. And if you want it really easy, play as the guy who can glad hand everybody. I don't know. Okay, I was gonna skip Afterlove EP because I don't get it. Basically, it is a come on, computer. It's not the internet connection; it's the PC that is moving really weird. But this is a game about getting over a breakup kind of thing, or potentially getting over the death of your partner. It's like, so there's a bit of grief going on here, but there's like various mini games. Chatting to people. It's from the people who made Coffee Talk, so there's going to be a lot of like virtual novel kind of stuff going on here. As you can see, the art style is like a comic book, like a graphic novel kind of, so like a virtual novel, a virtual graphic novel, I suppose. Again, the actual gameplay not entirely clear. After Love EP would suggest it's music focused, and he is a musician, and there is like rhythm action stuff going on, so there's probably a music focus there, but I would think the majority of the game is the visual novel stuff. And that presentation of the two characters would suggest that she died. Anyway, Dungeon Munchies. Okay, Dungeon Munchies is a pretty typical dungeon crawler roguelike kind of thing, but the difference being is, well, one, you're dead, but two, you go into these dungeons to collect ingredients to eat, or to cook for this person, and use this terrifying frying pan to make things, to improve your abilities and that kind of thing. You know, crafting and make things and so on. It's a very... The presentation looks very like it's PC, just this reticle that's following you around just looks very much like a mouse pointer thing, so it's not... I guess I'm not sure how it would play on like a controller, is what I'm going for there, but it's coming to Switch, so I guess it'll play like it, or rather, more specifically, it's already out. It has actually, it was one of the surprise, it's actually out right now if you want to play it. I think there's a demo for it, so I'll give a look at the demo and see what that's all about. Yeah, I was rereading this article because I wanted a refresher of what was actually there. I don't know what this is, because I don't remember seeing this at the indie showcase. So either I blacked out or oh wait, no, I do remember this now. I just did not recognize the cover art. So yeah, this is an isometric looter kind of thing, but I don't think it takes it too seriously. It's a bit more fun with some shenanigans. I don't know. As what I saw from, like, I had already immediately forgotten it, and apparently it's a sequel. It's like, okay, I honestly didn't remember it. Let's Play Oink Games. They don't even have a trailer for it. Oh, right. That was like a big collection of board games. A Fake Artist Goes to New York is actually a very good party game to play. The rest of them I did not recognize, but I do recognize that one, and it's a fun one. It's you're all ostensibly artists going to New York, but one of you is a fake artist, and everyone else is told what to draw, and the fake artist is not told what to draw, and the deal is the people who know what to draw have to draw something in such a way that it's not obvious to the fake artist what it is. So it's like you're told Paris, draw Paris, and a very obvious thing would be to draw the Eiffel Tower, and if you do that, like, the fake artist would be like, oh, we're doing Paris, are we? Okay, I'll do that. Where if you drew, like, fucking no, I don't know, that's why it's a hard game, but it's fun, it's a good one. Anyway, that's a virtual version. I imagine you draw on the actual Switch. Endling, Extinction is Forever is a super fucking sad game by the sounds of it. You are a fox mom, trying to raise your cubs, and I believe trying to trek across the countryside, and the cubs can die. It's actually a question of, or completion of the game is how many of them make it, not a guarantee that they'll all make it. You need to actually, it's like a massive escort mission, but also dog death. I mean, it's a fox, but you know, close enough. Like, there you go, there's an owl about to steal your fox cub. I'm not sure I want to play this. It seems like a super sad time. If it's the case that the game is just sort of setting you up, and these are all like perils that you come across, but actually they all make it in the end, wink, that's fine. If it turns out they actually can die and you lose them, and fuck that, I'm not playing this. I can't take that. Ollie World, a bit more of the skateboard, side-scrolling skateboarding Vigima game. I don't particularly have any real interest in Ollie stuff, but I know people do. You have different paths you can take. I believe the different paths are more difficult, but are more points and that kind of stuff. And I guess there's a story now. Dunno. I imagine if you're interested in it, you probably already know. And then announced at the Indie World Showcase is the sequel to River City Girls, River City Girls 2, which is a kind of Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, Fist of Fury kind of thing. Big brawler, big side-scrolling, old school brawler, but more characters now. You can play as some of the characters that were just background characters in the first game. I still have not played the original, and I've actually really been meaning to do it. I just have not got around to doing it. So that is something I should fix. But yeah, more characters, actual co-op, or local co-op rather, instead of online co-op. Good stuff. More moves, like more good stuff. Way forward. They know what they're doing. I imagine it'll be a good time. And that, I believe, was pretty much it. There were a few other games that were shown. Oh, right, Omori. Omori is a pretty bleak JRPG that has a fairly toxic online community, like a lot of these kind of cult games do. I have heard good things about its story, but at the same time, I have heard some pretty shit things about its community, so I don't know how to feel about it. But it does deal with some pretty heavy topics. So yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, as I have been told. But again, I don't know too much about it. I just know it allegedly has a good story, not that it does or does hard. I'm just gonna move on. My brain is not working today. It's Christmas. It's checking out as we speak. A few games ended up in a sizzle reel. Chicory: A Colorful Tale is coming to Switch. Chicory is a very, very good game. I did quick Foley plays of it this week. You should check it out. Might be my game of the year. It's a lot of fun. And it's like a top-down Zelda thing where you can also like paint the world with a independent paintbrush, and I imagine that would probably play pretty well with the Switch's touchscreen because you could actually draw on it, and wash your hands frequently if you're going to be doing that, otherwise your Switch will get absolutely disgusting. And then Grime, we've seen before. It is a side-scrolling Metroidvania type deal with air dashes and so on. That's absolutely going to be something I want to play. You are a sentient black hole, more or less, with a rock body for no reason. But yeah, you have black hole mechanics. Suck people in and crush them and that kind of thing. I think, yes, that was it. Okay, so that was the Nindies. Nintendo's Indie World Showcase. So some good stuff there, but a lot of it is like months away. Like next year, maybe, at some point, but who knows when. New games this week. So finally out of development hell and legal hell, I imagine, as well. Playing, do you want to actually do what I want to do? Pray for the Gods, very deliberately spelled wrong because of a weird lawsuit with Bethesda, because the game Prey, for whatever reason, they thought the trademark, people might get confused that this game has anything to do with Prey. Whatever. As you can see, it is a kind of Shadow of the Colossus deal, but you also have on-foot combat, which was not a thing in Shadow of the Colossus. And then the way they have spelled Prey is a kind of deliberate, you can take it either way. You can say pray for the gods in that P or EY, you're going to get killed by them, or P or AY, pray for them because you're going to kill them. Debatable which way you want to look at it. It had been on my radar for a very long time because it was announced like fucking 6 years ago or something. A long time ago. It's, I imagine, gone through a lot of developmental stuff. Debatable how well it has turned out. Haven't had a chance to play it myself, but it is now available on PlayStation at least. I'm not sure if it's on PC or anything else. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon is I was gonna say super bust a move, but it's not. It's like Bubble Bobble, basically, but dungeon stuff. Kinda. It's like a ye oldie. What the fuck is it called? It was like a Street Fighter version of it that Capcom made, and I legitimately forget the name of it. I don't know. Anyway, it's not exactly playing like Shovel Knight. It's a very, very different type of game. It's like heavily like a puzzle game. It's nearly Tetris, a bit of Bubble Bobble, a bit of the other game that I can't fucking think of. But anyway, I think you have a good idea of what it is. It's basically just using the Shovel Knight characters, the Shovel Knight universe assets, and so on, but very much not the side-scrolling, jumpy Castlevania type thing that the original Shovel Knight was. Chicory, Colorful Tale. I'm gonna go on about it again because it's a really good game, and there's a video for it out on Why Are You Like This? PC. There's a video on the channel where I play for about 2 hours. But again, as that came out during the Nintendies, sure. My brain has just completely checked out. The Nintendies showcase. It's out on Switch right now if you want to play it. It's also out on PlayStation. It's also out on PC. It is not out on Xbox. Fuck you, Xbox, I guess. It's really good. Just play it. There may or may not be a demo. I don't know. Among Us is out on PlayStation now. How it was announced like 7 months ago at one of the State of Plays. Now it's out. I'm sure you already know what Among Us is, or Among Us, for those of you who don't know, that I am just using the stupid name for it, as a Ratchet & Clank costume and pet thing. That's about it. Otherwise, it's pretty much the exact same game, but now you can play it on PlayStation. Coming to it. It's out now. There wasn't a launch trailer. Don't know if it's crossplay, so you may or may not be able to play with people on PC, and yeah, I think it's just PC and Android, PC and mobile at least. I don't know if it's on iOS. And Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, or just the Final Fantasy VII Remake, will be on PC. It's coming to Epic Games now, this week, and there have been some data mining that it'll probably end up on Steam at some point as well. There's also been some blowback in that it is a $70 game, which is not new for console players because they just arbitrarily add $10 every generation. But it is pretty new for PC players. They're not particularly used to paying that kind of money for ports, basically. So there's been a bit of blowback for that, but if you're in a position where you want to play Final Fantasy VII and you don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox, is it on Xbox? I honestly don't know. I tend to pretty much check out whenever Xbox comes up, to be honest. I don't own the console, so I don't pay too much attention to it. Anyway. Okay, some updates this week. So it's coming to the end of the year, so a lot of awards are going on, like the Game Awards, etc. But a lot of other awards in other industries. But the Hugo Awards, the Hugo Award Literary Prize, is a sci-fi and fantasy book thing where they give out awards for the best sci-fi book, best newcomer, new author, etc. Ongoing series, all the same kind of deal. And they do it for film and they do it for TV, I think, as well. And they haven't done it for games before. They made a one-off category, was created this year for it, and a permanent award is under consideration for writing in video games for sci-fi and fantasy-based works. So the one-off time that it was done this time, Hades won. Like, yes, absolutely, of course it did, because holy shit, that game is so well written. Just like the individual characters are well written as well, but the way the story wraps around the fact that you are constantly dying, like they wove the whole roguelike thing into the story. It's almost in some ways required that you kind of have to die to progress the story in some ways. It's very well done. Its competition was The Last of Us 2, Spiritfarer, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and BlazBall. I don't know how they managed to... Why is Animal Crossing in there? It has no story. Why is Animal Crossing in there? Spiritfarer, yes, because the characters are particularly well written in that. It is quite touching. Haven't played The Last of Us 2, can't comment on it. And BlazBall, I had heard had a pretty fun story. And obviously, Final Fantasy VII is Final Fantasy VII. There's a reason it is so well loved. Cool. And then a trailer for Trek to Yomi. So this was shown off in the Devolver... I think it was shown off in the Devolver E3, or the thing that replaced E3 or something like that. Anyway, It is a side-scrolling samurai film thing, more or less. So side-scrolling combat, but you're a samurai guy, and it's shot in the Kurosawa black and white filter, I guess. It looks really good. Can we get to some gameplay? Well, I mean, this is gameplay, but what I really mean is, can we get to the combat? And even though I said side-scrolling, there is a bit of 3D movement or Z-axis movement. Anyway, it looks really, really good, and the trailer that they showed off at the Devolver thing kind of was a bit more of a tone setter, whereas this is here's actual gameplay and here's how it will actually play. You are one guy versus many guys. Don't think they've really shown off that you can die really fucking easily because you have no armor. And then we have Noseless or a Skullface or whatever you want to call him. I imagine he is a difficult opponent considering he is fully armored and you are not. Anyway, looks pretty cool. No idea when it's coming, but it looks pretty good. Okay, it is now time to talk about the worst parts of video games. Video game industry. Well, my PC shits itself. What is the problem? Is it just fucking Chrome eating up all of my RAM? Maybe that's what it is. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, don't know what that is about. I think, yeah, legitimately Chrome just ate up all the RAM and I decided to just crash Kotaku specifically. So Kotaku was doing some fucking bullshit in the background. Don't like that too much. Might have to put them on the blacklist too. The red list or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it's time to talk about the worst parts of video games, the video game industry. So, there was news that Ubisoft were moving into NFTs for their fucking games, and fuck you NFTs and fuck Ubisoft, etc. But the actual developers themselves are like, what the fuck? Pretty much, they're pretty much on the same boat as the rest of us. This is, what are you doing? Many developers at the Assassin's Creed publisher have no idea what to make of the publisher's new NFT scheme. On Ubisoft's internal social media hub, when they were announced Quartz, their NFT package, responses quickly filled up with questions and concerns from developers across the company. Some didn't understand that what are the NFTs supposed to do? Like, what old problems does this new tech actually solve? And the others were worried that they would be getting mandates to actually integrate NFTs into their games. I still don't really understand the problem being solved here. Is it really worth the negative publicity this will cause? How can you look at private property, speculation, artificial scarcity, and egoism and then say, yes, this is good, I want that, let's put it in art? I normally try to stay positive on our announcements, but this one is upsetting. A lot of developers also raised environmental concerns, and that minting NFTs uses up a considerable amount of energy. This can be done, the whole creating of assets and so on can already be done. It has been done in other places without having to destroy the planet in the process. Others decried it as a vehicle for meaningless buzzwords and another unnecessary PR disaster for Ubisoft, who are already dealing with unnecessary PR problems. French trade group, trade union Solidaires Informatique, who we have talked about before. They are basically the people representing Ubisoft developers against Ubisoft and their horrible treatment of them. But anyway, they weighed in on the same thing. They called it a useless, costly, ecologically mortifying tech. Ubisoft has recently entered the blockchain and NFT market, a decision that has been widely criticized by our players, bringing no improvements or benefits to our games. Many of us in the company feel the same way and say that blockchain is harmful, worthless, and without future. You like dividends, subprimes, financial derivatives, crises, speculation, fast trading, money laundering, etc. This is the assured and unspoken promise of NFT. We are far from the enjoyment of video games. It's like, what is this shit doing in video games? This is meant to be entertainment. It's not meant to be a fucking job. So far, the technology has been used as a simple shop between players, and blockchain's innovation is to do literally the same thing but use more energy. It's like, we already have a shop thing. It works. Why? Why are you doing this? You know exactly why. Because they want to get on the bandwagon and get some money. All right, Ubisoft boss. So Yves flew in to not fan the flames. That's not what you want to do. Put out the flames. That's what he wants to do. Well, maybe he fanned them by mistake, but I don't imagine that was his intention. So he had a internal Q&A with the company developers, employees, and so on. But employees said his answers were vague and leaned on buzzwords. Guillermo, fuck him, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name properly, parachuted into a Q&A with developers at the Paris studio, an action which sources told Kotaku he did not even undertake last summer when the company was completely upended by widespread allegations of sexual misconduct. What is wrong with my brain? Yeah, even the whole thing that kind of tanked his company for a while, he didn't even fly in to do that, but this thing that can make them a shit ton of money for no reason, oh yeah, he's definitely on board for that. Fire up the company jet. Shimo was pressed for details about what new types of gameplay, NFTs, and blockchain technology would make possible, and he did not provide any. What he did instead was frequently reference Roblox, which we will talk about in a second. But it has been decried as being built on player exploitation, shoddy regulation, and leading to unsafe online communities, and he wants to use them as an example of what to do. A lot of developers were worried that the scope of many existing Ubisoft games already leads to lots of crunch and cut features, and adding yet another type of microtransaction economy that needs to be managed could siphon away even more resources. No, it won't. It will just force even more crunch. I'm here to make games and promote fun and entertainment. I don't see how this is going in that direction. It's just another way to milk money, said one developer. Ubisoft currently has many more plans and much broader ones for pushing blockchain technology into its other games in the future. Yay! Can't wait for Assassin's Creed NFTs and Far Cry NFTs and Splinter Cell NFTs and... Fuck off. Speaking of those NFTs, so the one that is currently in Ghost Recon Breakpoint right now, you can do it if you want to, requires you to play 600 plus hours of the game. Or as Zach Juizan puts it, over 600 hours of mediocre open world shooter Ghost Recon Breakpoint. That's how you get it, and even then there are only a limited number in forced scarcity. This is a completely digital item. There is no reason for it to be limited whatsoever. None. Totaling up the numbers, it's 25 days of Ghost Recon to get a stupid looking NFT helmet. Yep, there are better looking assets out there. This thing is like, it's fine. It would be like uncommon, I think. Like, it would be a green, it would not be an orange or whatever. As for what you can do with this helmet, well, you can wear it in the game. I wouldn't. It looks boring, and I don't want to play any more Breakpoint. Ubisoft also states that its NFTs can be sold outside of the Ubisoft ecosystem as a way of granting players more control than ever. Not sure how many people are going to be willing to pay you money, even weird crypto coins, for a bland-looking hat that can only be used in a years-old shooter that nobody really liked. But there you go. Consider it an investment, I guess. So that is kind of like a jokey way to do it, but it's highlighting that this there's no guarantee that this will migrate to the next Ghost Recon. There's nothing in the stipulations to say that it will do it. Not only that, but you do not own the asset itself. You don't own the wireframes. You don't own the 3D model. You don't own the textures. You don't own anything. You own nothing. You own a fucking URL. That's it. You own a line in the CDN somewhere. That's it. And even then, I don't think that property is actually enforceable. Stop doing this shit, basically. Not to be done with NFTs, but you know you're in trouble when Peter Molyneux decides to get in on it. You know you're in for a big scam artist. PDM. Peter Molyneux's next game is a blockchain business sim. Yay! Can't wait. The game will be called Legacy, a blockchain business sim, as he describes it himself. Before you begin playing the game, you will need to buy a land NFT before you can start your own in-game blockchain business, and all of this will be powered by a new cryptocurrency. Great, a new coin. There aren't too many of those. Legacy coin. Anyway, they're touting it as these kind of games as play to earn. Which is an interesting idea that has existed without the blockchain for years in various games like CSGO and Roblox and so on, and they are horrible cesspools of disgusting practices and black market shit. But yeah, let's do that too, and also obliterate the environment while we're at it. Now, you might have thought that's pretty dumb. Why would you pay so much money for a game that's not even out yet, and you don't even know if it's going to be any good, just to earn a made-up coin that will probably not even live long after the game is abandoned by Peter Molyneux because he does not support his games? You would think that would be stupid, and you'd be right, but some people are dumb. So Peter Molyneux's NFT game Legacy has already sold $50 million of these stupid fucking fake land shit that isn't even land because you don't own anything. It's not legally enforceable. You have just given them a lot of money. You absolute dumbass. So in order, as I said, in order to actually play the game, you need to purchase imaginary land in the game. And one of the most expensive ones, called London, sold for $900,000. Is that in Legacy coin, or is that actual money? All of these purchases were made via this thing, but I guess you have to convert cash or convert other Bitcoin into this coin. I don't want to know how it works, so don't bother telling me. I have no interest. But the point is this actually somebody, like a player who wants to do this? Like, if that's the case, you get help. Go talk to a therapist. You need help with this. You have lost control of your life. But if this is some shithead investor bro getting in on what should be an entertainment thing, something you do to enjoy yourself, not something you do to bankrupt yourself, this is not an avenue that we want video games to go down. It's already bad enough with the microtransactions and the pay to win and pay to play and play to earn and turning players into payers shit. Do we really want to just put a GameStop on Wall Street, I guess, is where we're going with this. But anyway, so I did mention Roblox. So a while ago on this series, we talked about a video that People Make Games did about Roblox and how it was incredibly disgusting and exploitative of the young players who play it, and that Roblox is also a content creation platform, so they can make their own games or mini games and then sell them for Roblox bucks or Robux, or Roblox coin. It's another way to go about it. Or company script, which is another way to go about it. Look that up. There's a reason they stopped doing it. It's bad. Yeah, it turns out it's worse. It's actually even worse than that. So the Roblox gaming platform arguably exploits its core user base of children between the ages of 9 and 15. So that was the first video. So what spurred on the second video is that Roblox came back to People Make Games and said, you should pull the video off YouTube because of a number of errors that it refused to detail. So it just said, take it down. No actual reason given, no legal requirement given, no cease and desist, nothing, just please, it makes us look bad. So some of the issues that they decided to look into, again, because they wanted to, but also other people who had played Roblox or who work on the games, the mini games inside Roblox, saw the original video and reached out to kind of tell their part, and it just highlighted a bunch of more stuff. The video itself, you should check out. It's only about 30 minutes long, same as the first one. It's pretty eye-opening. It's pretty gross, but it's, I think, something that you should be aware of, especially if you have kids or planning on having them, and Roblox is a pretty big platform for children who are interested in video games, so it's definitely something to look into. But one of the issues was that at the beginning, mini games and stuff inside Roblox would have been made by individual people, individual children working like in their bedroom and just making like shitty mini games for each other. But because you can make actually a lot of money doing that, it's now turned into like actual development teams, like adults doing it and making it, but also like teams of children getting together and like building a community or building their own development team. But the problem is they take it off Roblox because the Roblox forums were shut down for some stupid reason that they go into in the video. But the problem with that is it's now taken off site, which means Roblox has no oversight of it, which means they can wash their hands of any legal problems that come up. So some of the legal problems that come up is that you have children literally working for other children. There's no fucking employee protection or anything like that. Like managers, and it's here, managers decide to change the terms of their arrangement or renege on previous deals, they have no recourse because children are meant to be employed. So there's no actual legal thing going on here. They can be done out of IP, like if they made it a thing, like they should have their own copyright to that thing, but they can be done out of it, and again, no legal recourse from it. One such developer told the outlet he kept quiet about what happened because the platform has a culture against speaking out, or people risk being seen as difficult to work with. Again, we have heard this even in the actual bigger video game industry. It's blackballing people, it's harassment, bullying, it's being seen as the nail that sticks out, and so on. It's a shitty way to treat people, and now we're going to treat children like that instead. Noting that talking about managerial malfeasance on the Roblox developer forums falls under the category of harassment, as in you're harassing the manager, not that the manager's malfeasance is a harassment of you. I.e. the wrong way around, basically, is how Roblox interprets it. Which is why they don't use their forums, pretty much. And it gets worse, so we have going into the case of a developer of one Sonic the Hedgehog fan game who flirted and sexted with a 12-year-old girl. This is an adult man doing this. Roblox eventually deleted this developer's personal account, however, he had transferred ownership of the game to a separate account representing the development team. Therefore, he still appears to be involved in development and profiting off the continued operation of the game. This is a pedophile on Roblox, making a lot of money. Then, we're not done. Roblox also has a black market of assets. Roblox hosts a secondary market where users can buy and sell those items, complete with stock market-like graphs showing the item's value over time. So now Roblox has stocks. Like stocks with an X, I guess. Some of those items go for tens of thousands of dollars now, and every time they are sold, Roblox gets a cut. Of course they do. So they're well aware of it. They're well aware that they are facilitating what is effectively a stock market. And their only oversight is, did we get paid? Yes, no. The issue, though, is that because Roblox gets such a big cut, it actually pushes developers and people who own these assets and want to sell them, pushes them to a third party outside black market. So this whole ecosystem is pushing children toward black market websites where users can arrange to sell collectible items and trade out virtual currency without giving the platform holder a percentage, and then get done for like phishing and malware and blackmail and etc. Hidden fees, and they end up taking even more money than you actually thought you were giving them, etc. CEO of Roblox now has a net worth in the billions. The company makes decisions that affect tens of millions of young people, and yet when we ask them questions where Roblox's own policies appear actively harmful to their users, we were told that we weren't being objective, while this company refused to even admit the existence of the collectible stock market they created, of the underground black market website that they allowed to exist. They didn't say anything to us about this questionable reality of kids working underneath other kids. They told us that we weren't seeing the bigger picture while refusing to even admit the existence of whole parts of the picture. That is a quote from the video itself. Go give it a look and go check out some of their other videos because they do some good shit. Okay, last thing for industry bullshit. So PlayStation has finally announced that it's going to make faceplates. So why is this an industry bullshit? You may recall that there was a story we looked at, a company called Dbrand, who were making third-party faceplates for the PS5, and they literally said to Sony, fuck you, sue us. Okay, they didn't literally say fuck you, but they literally said just try and sue us about the because they didn't have the license to do third-party faceplates for the PS5, and Sony did sue them. Sue them for quite a good bit of money as well. Had to take down their website for a bit, then they redid them. They added like little different designs so it wasn't practically an exact copy of the PS5, and then Sony sued them again. And as far as I'm aware, they are no longer doing the faceplate thing, or they are looking into legal things for it or something like that. But yeah, it was pretty much assumed at the time that the reason Sony were going after them so hard about it is because they were going to make their own ones. And it turns out they were. So here's them. So you've got these 5 colors plus the white original PS5 color. So there's 6 colors now. You can choose from them, and you can also get controllers in the same styles. Cool. I may or may not do that. Anyway. Okay, so some dumb stuff. Some dumb stuff to finish us off. So the continued console shortages going around, or the chip shortage rather, more specific shortage, is now affecting actual official tournaments. So Xbox shortages forces Microsoft to use dev kits in the latest Halo tournaments. The issue being they would have to use modified dev kits for some tournament players, so the dev kits would be set to retail mode. This is a way for the developer to see how their game would actually run on a real Xbox without having to buy an actual Xbox. So the dev kit has 2 modes, developer mode, retail mode. So these consoles will be set in retail mode, but I think it's just funny that that Microsoft itself cannot get its hands on Xbox consoles for this stuff. Open bracket players, you'll be playing this weekend on Series X development consoles. They are functionally identical and will be operating in retail mode, so it's the exact same experience, they just look a little different. Why? Global supply chain shortage is real. So yes, this global supply chain shortage will continue probably into next year, and probably into the year after too, as we all deal with the pandemic, and we also deal with scalpers, and we also deal with blockchain shitheads, because they're also eating up these kind of things. Also, Endwalker is too popular, so Square Enix have to stop selling it. This is kind of a funny way to look at it. The real issue is server congestion. Final Fantasy XIV is so popular that Square Enix is suspending the sale of it. The servers, it seems, cannot keep up. So the issue here is that Endwalker came out recently. It is very popular, so a lot of players have returned to play it. That means server congestion, and one issue is that, again, due to global supply chain shortages, Square Enix are not able to get their hands on more servers, so that they can kind of alleviate the server congestion. So their response to that is, rather than having paying customers not actually able to use the product that they have paid for, they have instead stopped any new paying customers coming in, and they have also suspended the free trial. So basically only paying players can currently play Final Fantasy XIV. That is and specifically if you already owned it. They've also suspended their ad campaigns. They're not actually advertising the game anymore. And they're just, I don't know, either waiting to get more servers or waiting for people to finish the content and go back to doing whatever it was they were already doing. I imagine the Final Fantasy XIV lifers are those numbers probably won't change all that much, but there are people who come in, do all the content, get all that stuff done, get it out of their system, and then go off and do something else. And that's fine for them. That's all kind of what I'm doing, I guess, only I am not even remotely close to doing all the content. I am still in the middle of Heavensward. Anyway, last thing, Santa Claus is coming to town in Phasmophobia. It's kind of just a silly little skin, I think, for one of the ghosts that it's Santa, and some of the environments have been changed to be like a bit more festive. It snows, and I think you can hear sleigh bells and stuff like that. There is a video here, but I don't think it is super visible that it actually is Santa that's chasing her, and the game wants to shit itself. Oh, not the game, my PC wants to shit itself. So you got glowing footprints and like yeah, there's a Santa ghost, basically, which is kind of fun. The audio, there is like jingle bells, I think, when he starts hunting and stuff like that. Well, that's fun, I think. Anyway, that was the news for the 13th and 19th of December 2021. So some good indies shown off in the Nindies showcase. Some interesting games coming out. Ubisoft's NFT bullshit continues, and my PC, I guess, really needs more RAM, or Chrome is doing some fucking bullshit in the background. Anyway, elsewhere on the channel, I played Chicory this week. Was our one-off game, and we've also returned to Alan Wake parts. So part 5 is up on the channel as well. Part 6 will be next week. Part 7 will be the week after that. This week coming up, Overboard will be the game we'll be playing on the channel. And then after that, I'm not sure if I will do Metroid Dread first or Solar Ash first, but one or the two of those. And then we'll be into January, and at that point I have not thought far enough ahead, to be honest, so I don't know what will be happening then. Alan Wake will be continuing. Part 6 and 7 will take us up to the end of the year. So there will be content on the channel if you want to watch. Probably won't be a news show next week, because it will be the day after Christmas. It's Stephen's Day. I usually record on Sundays, so I will be probably in a food coma, so unlikely that I will be recording something then. And then also unlikely there'll be a ton of news, because it's holiday week, Christmas week, for the industry as well. So no, probably won't be a whole lot of news. And the week after, it will be New Year's Day. So same reason, I think. New Year's Day? No, it'll be the day after New Year's. So possibly I might get a recording in, but again, unlikely there'll be a whole lot of news. So we'll see. You may or may not see a news story then. Either way, there'll be stuff to see on the channel. And feel free to reach out to me on the Twitter or comments on the videos and stuff like that if you want to, for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm there. It's public account. You can DM me if you feel like it. I prefer if you just tweet me publicly. That would be nicer. Anyway, that's not even... Oh, you can just cut that entire part out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in January, probably.